All right, here we go. Season 2, Episode 7 of The Real Housewives of Potomac. Title of the episode is Over the River, Through the Woods. And we start off the episode seeing Miss Karen the Grand Dame. And Karen is meeting up with a lady by the name of Angela Rose, who is the founder of an organization called PAVE. And what PAVE does is help individuals who have found themselves victims of sexual assault. And I struggle to say victim because I would like to say survivors of sexual assault, because there's a difference between being a victim and a survivor. And I think that it's really amazing to see that there are so many organizations that are out there that are helping people who go through such tough times and probably need a lot of help, not just physically, but emotionally. And we see Karen sitting with the founder of this organization, and Karen starts opening up about how she wants to help people and how she wants to get out the word and all these things. And then she opens up even further in saying that she herself is a survivor of sexual assault. And that was something that she went through. And it was when she was in college, a young woman, and she was very upset about it, which, anybody would be. But she carried herself very well. And I think that it just show people who have doubted her for so long, or wondered, maybe why she's so hard at times or things like that, or why she may not always show her emotions. I'm a big fan of Karen. I like her on the show. But there are some people who are not big fans of hers. Big fans of her. And I think that this may have shown a softer side of her and let people, see the humanity behind Karen, and not always think that she is just this sedity, uppity kind of person. She kind of really showed a different side of her, and I really enjoyed seeing that. And kudos to Karen for having the courage and the bravery to speak to something that has traumatized a lot of people. I'm sure traumatized her at the time that it happened, and maybe she's still dealing with it. It's something that what can you say? It's sad. But I think it's wonderful that she's going to do something about it and get out the word and do all these things. I think that she definitely deserves a big pat on the back for that. That takes a lot of courage, and I have a ton of respect for her for that. So, that happens, and they talk about she's going to be speaking at this event. So definitely looking forward to seeing her at the event, because, we heard about it during the commercials and all that stuff. They've been showing the commercials for the past couple weeks. So was definitely excited to see this episode and see exactly what she had up her sleeve. And it's good to see that she is doing something that's, a great cause and really helping people. So then after that, we move on to see our girl Monique. Monique is the newbie, the rookie. No, I wouldn't say rookie. It's cute to say rookie, though, because she's married to an NFLer. But I like Monique. She is, there are sometimes these new housewives, I'm like, what were you thinking? But Monique definitely fits. I like her a lot. She talks a lot. But then again, I think to be a housewife, most of them do. They try to rag on her and say, oh, she talks too much. But you wouldn't be a housewife if you didn't talk a lot. Because then, nobody's just going to sit there and watch you be silent. So, yeah, she talks a lot, but she's fun at the same time. And we see her with her cousin / assistant, Hank. And all these housewives have assistants. What are they getting assistants in? What are they being assisted? What are you assisting them in? You never know. It's not, I'm not trying to throw shade, but yes, she is a mother of 2, but I don't think she's working full-time or anything. I think that a lot of times they just like to have assistants because it makes them look richer. Like they have way more money. Like, I'm so rich, I can afford an assistant, this and that. It's her cousin, so it's cute, but I never know what they need an assistant for. She said that she wants to have more time to spend with her husband, so maybe that's why she has an assistant. Anyway, he's there, and his job is to help her get this home ready, the home they've had for quite a while. I think she said they bought it when her husband was drafted to the Redskins or something like that. I could be getting that wrong because I don't watch football, so I have no freaking idea. But I believe it was the Redskins he was drafted to, and they bought the home. And so she said it has sentimental value of some sort, and she didn't want to sell it. So instead of selling it, they're going to get it ready to rent out. And I think she says she's their property manager. And I'm like, go ahead, girl. Because I remember that episode where Giselle was like, you don't have a home? And she was like, we have 4 homes. It's like, you better work. So, yeah, she was doing that. And she was really on her cousin, like, get this stuff ready. You could tell she's kind of like a perfectionist. She was making sure that he had everything ready for their new tenants who are coming at whenever she rents it out. But, yeah, so that moment happened. And, yeah, I thought that moment, I liked it. You know, I like anything with Monique. She's fun to me. I kind of like her spirit. She just seems like a cool girl kind of person. I like her. So, after that, we go and we see Giselle and Robyn taking a drive. And while they're riding, they're talking about Miss Ashley. You know, Miss Ashley's name has been in a lot of people's mouth, and not for good things. Ashley is annoying a lot of people because she talks a lot. They all talk a lot. But I guess it's not just about talking a lot. It's what you're talking about. And when you're talking about people's relationships, Ashley, you have to make sure that yours is on the up and up. You know, you've already been talking about the fact that you and your husband are not really intimate like you once were. You're talking about the fact that, you know, you're having an issue with this restaurant because you're trying to serve people kangaroo in DC or outside of DC. Nobody in the DMV area is probably checking for wallaby. Just saying, like, what's next? A deep fried koala bear? I don't know what else you're gonna make, but I don't think that you should be worried about other people's relationship. I think you have other things going on. And don't get me wrong, I really like Ashley. As a matter of fact, last season, I think it was season 1, I really liked Ashley season 1 because she was one of the few who really stood up to Giselle and really had a mind of her own. And, you know, but this season, she's kind of rubbing me the wrong way because it's one thing to be a concerned friend. It's another thing to be nosy and judgmental. And she is coming off that way. She is very much a know-it-all. And it's like, girl, you got your own stuff to handle. Don't sit there and tell Robyn what she needs to be doing with her relationship, telling Charisse what she needs to be doing with her relationship. And at the end of the day, you have things going on in your relationship that you need to handle. Now, that's no shade because it's a marriage. So you're going to have ups and downs. But you can't sit there and tell other people what's going on with them and, you know, not acknowledge what's going on with you. Remember, when you point your finger at one person, 3 more are pointing back at you. So I think that Miss Ashley may want to take it down a notch because Robyn and Giselle are not having it. And to the point that they actually rolled down on her, showed up at her restaurant. I think the name of the restaurant is Oz or something. I guess it's the Wizard of Oz because they serving everything but the cowardly lion in that boy. But yeah, they come to the restaurant and you know, at first it was a little chill, but I think she asked them did they want to sit or something like that, and Robyn was like no, like she had some things she wanted to get off her chest. And Robyn made it very clear that she is very sick of Ashley talking about her relationship, and Ashley was more defensive than anything. And I guess you would be defensive depending on how a person approaches you about a particular situation, but I think that Ashley needs to come to the conclusion that nobody wants to deal with the fact that they're hearing around town, hey, she's talking about you, hey, she's talking about your relationship, she's talking about this, she's talking about that. It's like, at what point do you get your own business and stop talking about me? So, you know, Robyn kind of got in her face and she was like, don't point your finger at me. And Robyn like damn near shoved her finger down her throat and was like, this is pointing my finger in your face. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Kind of getting over a cold. But yeah, so Ashley was a little upset. Robyn wasn't having it. Then Giselle kind of got on her case. Like, you better calm down because you're not only talking about Robyn's business, but you're talking about Charisse's business. And Charisse isn't having it. So at that point, Ashley gets defensive and she's like, that's between me and Charisse. And she's like, you know what? At the end of the day, you need to be careful before Charisse drags you. And, you know, everybody knows about the whole dragging thing because Candy on Real Housewives of Atlanta made that a thing. She was like, I'll drag you in this bitch. You know, I know everybody remembers that. So, you know, when Giselle says, oh, she's going to drag you. She's like, who's going to drag me? Giselle was like, she's going to drag you. And she's like, where's she going to drag me? She was like, down the river and through the woods. And I bust out laughing. Like, could not stop laughing. When Candy made that a thing, it was just like, boom, that was it. I've heard so many people talk about dragging people now since then. It's just like, it's almost getting played, but sometimes it's still kind of funny. And then Ashley was like, she's gonna drag me. Where's she gonna drag me? And she was like, down the river and through the woods. And I bust out laughing. Like, I didn't even expect Giselle to respond. Like, I expect her to blow it off. Like, you know where she gonna drag you. But no, she actually gave you a full-on description. And then they turned around and made it the title of the episode. I thought that was funny as hell. I literally cracked up. You know, I was rolling. And Ashley was going, I mean, you know, kudos to Ashley, though. She was not intimidated. She definitely held her own. She definitely stood up to them and was like, no, you're not coming in my restaurant and punking me. So, I mean, I can't be mad at her because at the end of the day, whether she's right or wrong, she's still going to defend herself. You're still not going to stand there and talk to me any kind of way. So I give Ashley a little slack for that, because I do feel like they could have handled that differently. Like, they probably should have called her and said, let's meet up somewhere. Like, you already know the girl's restaurant is struggling. Why would you go to her restaurant to confront her when she's already having financial issues with the restaurant? What if you have patrons in there like, oh, it's hood in here, it's ghetto in here, I'm not coming back? You know, she could have lost business behind you having a problem. And it's nothing to call somebody and say, girl, let's go to lunch. Girl, let's go have a drink or something. Call her to, you know, a neutral location and y'all had that conversation. Don't show up at her place of business and do that. So, you know, while Robyn had every right to be upset, she was wrong as hell for the way she handled it in that moment. Y'all shouldn't have went to her restaurant. I get that. You know, you was amped up and you was mad as hell. You had every right to be, because Ashley is doing a whole lot of talking. And when you talk a lot, people want to have a conversation with you like, hey, why are you talking about my personal business or whatever? But that should not have happened in her restaurant, especially with them knowing her situation. And Giselle threw so much shade, like, girl, your husband, this, and that. And I forgot what she said about her husband, but she was throwing shade at the restaurant and y'all not doing that well and all this stuff. And then Ashley is in her confessional like, chick, your man was cheating on you and had however many babies. First of all, I didn't know that Giselle's ex got a bunch of illegitimate kids. Maybe I should have read about that. Or, you know, I always follow the blogs and stuff, but I guess I wasn't really that concerned about figuring out what was going on with her ex, because it is her ex, so I really didn't care. But I didn't realize he had a bunch of kids, you know, scattered around until Ashley said it. I'm like, oh, maybe I need to find out what's going on with that situation. But I don't really care that much. But I did think it was funny. And she like, how you gonna throw shade at what's going on over here? And your ex, y'all broke up because he was cheating and he got a bunch of kids. I guess if he take care of them, though, that's his business. So, but the shade was funny, though. The shade was funny. So, you know, that happened. And then the episode moves on to Miss Charisse. Charisse gets a lot of hate. It's a lot of people who don't like Charisse. I see so many, you know, nasty tweets about her, and people think she even more stuck up than Karen, I guess. They really do not like her. A lot of people was on Twitter like she, you know, she always acting like she's above somebody or she's better than somebody. And I was like, wow, I didn't know people had a problem with Charisse like that. I don't dislike Charisse. I don't love Charisse. I'm kind of just like, you know, she doesn't bother me, but she's not my favorite on the show. I'm glad she's on the show because I think that she brings a, you know, she's good for the dynamic. But I didn't understand why so many people had a problem with her. But it is a lot of people who don't like her. Well, anyway, she was shopping with her daughter Skylar, who is her twin. I mean, she spit that girl out. Skylar looked just like her mother. And they were shopping, and she was kind of just talking to her about, you know, what's going on with Charisse and Eddie, and saying, you know, how do you feel about me and your dad, you know, not being together the way we once were or whatever, or, you know, possibly splitting up. And she was just, you know, her daughter was kind of like, well, y'all never really together that much anyway, because he's always worked on the road. You know, he's always been traveling. So I think her daughter seems very mature. And I thought that was kind of sad to watch, because it seems like Charisse is even more upset about the breakup than her daughter is. And a lot of times you see the kids are affected more. But in this case, I think Charisse is affected more. I think that Skylar seems to be okay with it because she's already used to her dad not being there. So for her, it's not really a change in the routine. But for Charisse, it's the actual separation of a union. So I guess emotionally, that's a lot for her. And she actually started crying, and her daughter hugged her. And it was like a really sweet moment to watch between mother and daughter. And I just really didn't know what to say, but it just kind of threw me that, I usually, I'm so used to seeing that the kids are more affected by it. And to see that, Charisse was really breaking down. I think that, once again, people like to see the human side of someone. And it really showed who she is and how she loves family and all these things. And I don't know, it just kind of broke my heart to watch a little bit. It was definitely, kind of sad. Excuse me. Had to wet my whistle. But yeah, it was just kind of sad or whatever. And hopefully that works out. I hope Charisse moves on. I wonder, is it true what Giselle said that Charisse was with a fireman or something like that? I mean, she must not be in love with the fireman if she's still crying over the ex. So maybe it was a fling, or maybe Giselle misunderstood the relationship, but I don't know. Giselle threw that information out on Watch What Happens Live like she was certain that, Charisse had a boyfriend. So I'm just like, maybe she had somebody she was spending her time with, but she's still very much in love and she wanted a relationship. I really don't know. What I do know is she still loves that man. Otherwise, she wouldn't be crying over him. So it's kind of sad. So my heart goes out to Charisse. I hope that it works out for her, because she was definitely having a difficult time. And yeah, nobody wants to have to go through that, but it's life, I guess, So we go on, and we go from talking about the breakup of a marriage to a very happy marriage, or so it seems from everything I can see. Monique and Chris seem to be very much in love with one another. And they go fishing. They look cute together. I like them together. I don't care what people say. Monique get a lot of haters, but I like her. Well, anyway, they go fishing, and she says that that's kind of one of the ways she reeled him in, pun intended, was that they went fishing together, and she could fish, and she could bait her own hook and all this stuff. I don't know how to fish, so if a man is looking for a woman who know how to fish, I guess I ain't gonna catch him. No, that's not for me. Please keep the worms away from me. Then there was like an eel, and no ma'am, and no sir. I'm good. I would pass on that. But they were having fun. They were having a good little conversation, and Charisse was saying, how she really thinks that her pastor was right. That she does need to spend more time with her husband. I thought that was like a cute little moment between the two of them. And I didn't realize she was like an outdoorsy kind of girl. She seems like kind of like a tomboy. Maybe she is a tomboy. She is always talking about kicking Giselle's ass, so to speak. I mean, if you pay attention, she makes a couple comments every now and again about getting a little scrappy. So maybe she can fight. I don't know, but she talk like she can. So, but then again, they say the ones that talk the most do the least. So I couldn't tell you, but I do know that I think their relationship is cute. And I think that she's still contemplating what her pastor said about apologizing to Giselle. So that'll be interesting to see if that happens. But we'll get to that later on in this review, recap, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I mean, they finished a little date night. Hey, boo. Which I like, because I mean, how many times do you get to see a date night where it's just like them outdoors, that are outdoors kind of thing? A lot of times you hear about date night, it's dinner and a movie. So I thought that was a fun little spin on it, to go fishing. I like their relationship. If you don't, hey, to each his own. Well, anyway, Karen and Giselle meet up, and they are planting flowers with some cute little girls, and I have baby fever, so I'm just like, oh. But yeah, that was like a really adorable moment, and I loved it. I love that we're seeing them be more charitable. I think this was an episode where they kind of showed that softer side. I really love that. I think that they should do that more often. It shows their humanity, and that they do more than just fight with each other. So I thought that was really cute. Then they go and they have a little sit down during their water break, I think it was. And Karen and Giselle, they get to talking. Karen invites Giselle to her upcoming event. And then Karen spills the beans that Monique, the new girl, called Giselle a trick. Ooh, no, she didn't. Yes, she did. So, Giselle's like, oh, where was I when it happened? And Karen was like, you weren't there. She's like, oh, okay, because I don't remember that happening, whatever. And then she makes some comment about Giselle in her confessional says something about, Monique lacks the education to speak words with more than 4 letters or something like that. And I'm like, well, Trick has 5 letters. So I don't know if that was meant to be shade or maybe I misunderstood what she was trying to say. But I was like, okay, girl, like if you're going to throw that shade, make sure it's correct. Just saying. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But so, I think everybody's kind of excited to see what's going to happen between Monique and Giselle because, you on one hand, you have Giselle just finding out that old girl called her a trick. And on the other hand, you have Monique, whose pastor is like, hey, you need to apologize for calling her a trick. So what's going to happen? Is Giselle going to get to confront Monique before Monique even gets to apologize? Or is Giselle going to let it go? But Giselle really isn't known for letting things go, so I doubt that happens. But it's just like, what is going to go down? Is it going to be like World War III? Or is it just going to be a quick little battle and they're going to get over it? I don't know. I'm excited to see, though. That's why I'm watching, okay? So anyway, okay, so what was next? Oh, okay, let's get to the get down, okay? So we are at Robyn's house. Child, y'all already know what happened in that scene, okay? Robyn is in the kitchen with Juan, her not so significant other. I don't even know what to call Juan. Okay, so this is her ex-husband who cheated on her, so they got a divorce, but they legally divorced, but they sleep in the same bed, they live in the same house, they kids don't even know that they split up. So it's just like a conundrum. Like, it's perplexing. It's everything but what all the words you want to use to describe Robyn and Juan's relationship is all the words you shouldn't use to describe a marriage. Like, it's just kind of weird. I don't get it. But anyway, so they're sitting there and they're talking, and I guess he has like some basketball camps or something coming up or whatever. And she's talking about how she really does everything for him. And I'm like, girl, you the maid, you the chef, you his assistant, you the mother of his children. Like, she plays all of the roles of a woman with the ring, but they're not married. And it's like, it's kind of sad to watch because Robyn is fucking gorgeous. Like, she is a beautiful lady. Well, all of the women on this show to me are. And so I just was like, girl, like, you are gorgeous. Any man would be happy to have you. You're a woman about your business. I think she got some kind of marketing or some kind of agency. I forgot what kind of company she owns, but she owns her own company. Like, you a CEO, you a boss, you doing your own thing. And she's chill. She's not about that drama. She will bring it to you if you're looking for it, but she's not like a pot stirrer, unlike Ashley or some other people. Or even her good friend Giselle. Giselle can stir a pot too. Give her a spoon. She don't even need a spoon. She'll use her arm. She can. That girl knows she can stir a pot. But my thing is that I just don't understand why Robyn is settling. And when I say settling, I don't mean that Juan is a bad guy. But anytime that you will be in a relationship where you are not getting 100% of the person or of their time, their affection, their emotion, meaning that they have time to go and split that between you and someone else, then you are settling, especially if you know you want more. And I don't believe Robyn when she says she doesn't want more, because you wouldn't be there if you didn't. Somewhere deep down inside, you still want that man. And, it was kind of sad to watch because he was like snapping at her in the kitchen. She was asking him something about a haircut or a photo shoot or whatever. And he was kind of like getting snappy with her. And I was just like, girl, like, what are you staying for? Like, am I missing something? He must be great in bed because, like, I don't know. Maybe she just, sometimes when people are in love, they just can't seem to let it go, even when they know emotionally maybe they're not being fulfilled. Because clearly, I don't understand how this relationship could be feeling for any woman, honestly, with all due respect. I just don't know. So it was difficult kind of watching that. And then he goes upstairs and he is in the closet, honey, talking to the producer, saying to the producer, like, I can't do this anymore, and I'm tired of living like this and all of this stuff. And the producer is like, well, you don't want to be with her anymore, or you don't want your family together. And he's just like, if it wasn't for the kids, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for Corey and Carter, I think he said his name, their names are. And I was just like, what? Like, oh, that is shady. So you gonna film with her in the kitchen and then go up and badmouth your whole situation upstairs? Like, I was like, wow. The shade is real. Like, damn. He straight up was just like he is clearly unhappy. But what trips me out is that now, Giselle has often said that he's the one who wants to be back in a relationship and she doesn't want it. She said this on prior episodes. He wants to get back together. I don't really want it right now. Or, stuff like that. And I'm just like, that's not how it sounds, boo-boo. It sounds like this man is completely unhappy and he ready to go. Like Wanda said in Living Color, I ready to go. Like, he ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's not happy. So I don't know if, she's fooling herself or if what's going on. But she has said it plenty of times that he's the one who wants to be in a relationship. But that conversation in the closet with the producer tells a different story. And it's sad because, what's crazy is that Robyn probably found out he said that on camera when she watched the show. Because she wasn't upstairs when he said it. So that means she probably watched it with the rest of us and just found out that that's how he felt. And that's effed up, okay? I'm just saying, like, but then again, if he really feels that way, he had to have told her at some point, right? I mean, I would hope that he wasn't going through life just leading her on. At some point, he had to tell her, like, this ain't working for me or something. So, I don't know. It's a little confusing, but I'm pretty sure we're going to find out at the reunion. Y'all better tell Andy to ask that question, like, what happened in that closet, and did you know he felt that way? And did you find out on the show? Because it kind of seemed like she didn't know he said that. It was a little bit of a mess, but okay. So anyway, we move on to Ashley. Ashley is having a meeting with her mother and her brother, and they are discussing whatever they're talking about. And once again, this was an episode about charity because her brother is talking about going to the Dominican and helping implement some clean water initiative or something like that. I'm like, once again, like, yeah, kudos to y'all. Y'all showing some good things. Y'all showing that y'all are, people who like to help and do nice things. And I was like, kudos. Once again, y'all looking good. But Ashley's mom was like talking to her about, everything that was going on with Giselle and Robyn and Charisse. And she's, Ashley was saying, well, they want me to apologize. Her mother was like, you better make sure that you get an apology as well. And I'm like, why do they owe you an apology? Okay, maybe Giselle owes you an apology because she should have brought up your marriage in the way that she did. You could argue that Robyn could probably apologize for putting her finger in your face, but, I mean, considering all this stuff you've been talking about her, you lucky all you got was a finger in your face. So, I mean, I don't know how many apologies they think that Ashley is going to get, but I don't think it's going to be too many. Don't hold your breath, boo. I was like, okay, the most interesting part of that conversation was your brother going to the Dominican to help people and learn the salsa, I think, or the tango. What? I forgot what dance he said he was going to learn, but I was just happy to hear that there's once again somebody else doing something good to help people. This was a really good episode for charity. I loved it. And then we move on from that because I'm not spending too much time on that conversation. I don't know how many apologies she thinks she going to get because she don't really deserve any. Then we move on to Miss Robyn, and Robyn is sitting down with Charisse and Dr. Jeff, and just kind of talking about the relationship. And Dr. Jeff was asking her, is she over what's happened to her and all the things that she's been through? And I don't know if that she is, but she starts crying and all this stuff, and I don't think that she's over Juan. And that's why I don't believe her when she says stuff like, he wants to be in a relationship, but I don't. I think she said, We would love to be in love, and he wants the relationship, but I'm not ready. That's something she said on a previous episode. And then she said that their relationship is better now than when they were married. And I'm like, girl, if it's better now than when y'all were married and he is unhappy, that means he was unhappy when y'all was married too. I don't know if them two on the same wavelength, because maybe that's why they got a divorce though. I mean, that would make sense. If y'all happier now than you were then, it makes sense why y'all got a divorce. But I watched this and I won't say like sympathy, because I think when you feel sympathy for somebody, it can be kind of like a person can take that as like it's kind of out of the way. Like they don't want you to be sympathetic. They don't want you to pity them. I wouldn't say I feel sympathy for her, but I don't envy her situation. You know what I mean? Like I could definitely empathize. Like, oh wow, that's messed up. But I just feel like when Robyn says he wants me, but I don't want the relationship, I don't know if I believe it. I think she wants the relationship more than he does. And I think that at this point, y'all got to sit down and decide if y'all going to stay together or if y'all going to walk away, because he got you looking crazy. You talking about how he wants you back, and he telling producers he can't do it no more. That is a sticky situation, baby. So, Dr. Jeff was saying, is she over being cheated on? And she kind of says that she's over it or something like that. I don't believe that, but I guess people have to come to terms with things in their own time. And it's just kind of sad to watch. I don't know what else to say. I don't know how else to describe it. It is sad to watch. And I hope that she gets closure in this situation and that she is able to move on, because Robyn is too nice of a person, too beautiful of a woman to sit around waiting and waiting and waiting and still waiting. Like, girl, come on. And then we have Charisse and Monique and all of the ladies, Ashley, Giselle, Robyn. They all attend Karen's event for PAVE, honoring people who have or reaching out to people who have survived sexual assault. Don Lemon was there. He spoke. He was very eloquent and spoke about what he's been through as a young boy, and how I think it was his mother's best friend's son and his friends who sexually, I guess, assaulted him. He didn't go into detail, or at least they didn't show anything that was too detailed on the show. But, definitely I think that you could look at him and say, wow, he's been through a lot and he's a survivor. So I think that this was a great event for that. I love when Ashley was like, she was not here to be seen by the green-eyed sisters. We're talking about Robyn and Giselle. And I didn't know if she was calling them the green-eyed sisters because they both have green eyes, or she was calling them the green-eyed sisters as in they're green with envy. You know what I mean? So, or maybe it was a little bit of both. So I thought that was kind of funny. And then, Karen spoke and she really went into detail about what happened to her. And I just hats off to everybody who has been through something like that and have survived it. And even if you're still dealing with it, there are organizations out there to help people. And I hope that, anybody who's been through a situation like that gets all the help and the support that they need. And if not, reach out to somebody, anybody, because you're clearly not alone. There are a lot of people who've been through it. And I have so much respect for those who are willing to reach out and tell their story so that they can help someone else. And that's exactly what Karen did. That's what Don Lemon did. And I think that with the ladies going to the event and showing their respect, and I like that they didn't really get crazy. They tend to argue and fight whenever they get together. They didn't do that. They held their peace. Although Ashley did try to speak to Charisse. Charisse ignored the hell out of her. Like she did not exist, but they didn't argue. So much respect for that. And then Monique tried to talk to Giselle and tried to get Giselle's phone number, and Giselle kind of like was not having it. And Ashley kind of felt like her and Monique were being the adults about the situation, and Giselle and Charisse were kind of being petty, like they weren't willing to hear them out and try to mend the fences and all this stuff that's going on. It's a lot of drama, but I think it's going to unfold later. And I'm glad that it didn't unfold at this event, because this event is bigger than these women having drama. And kudos to them for having way more class than to show their, you know what, in the middle of this place. So I have a lot of respect for them. I thought it was a great episode. You know, sometimes I watch these Housewives episodes and I'm like, ooh, this is a filler. You know, it feels like, you know, they just threw this together, but they didn't. It was a great episode. I'm happy to see that they're reaching out, doing great things for the community. It was a great episode for charity. I really do feel that way. It was fantastic. I loved it. So, you know, let me know what you thought. I thought it was an inspiring episode. I thought that all the ladies really conducted themselves very well, considering some of the things that were going on. You know, so let me know in the comment section, how are you feeling? This is your girl Shay. I hope you enjoyed. And I guess I will see you next week for the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 2. I guess that'll be episode 8. Huh? All right. Bye, boos. Love y'all.
Thank you for coming to Writer's Vlogs. In the description box, you'll find
links to our social media,
blog,
and anything else you need to know.
Be sure to rate,
comment,
and subscribe to our channel.
Mwah.